Hey, what is up guys, it's DragonxDuelist here, and today I'm bringing you a discussion video while I sit here and play on Devpro. So, what I'm going to talk about today is, I'm going to talk about Konami and their issues with bringing the ban list to the TCG. As most of you know, we haven't gotten a ban list yet here in the TCG, even though Konami did say that we will be getting it soon after the adjusted ban list came out. So, after the adjusted ban list came out, which was February 8th, I believe. Yeah, February 8th. It's been a month, more than a month, almost 2 months, since we got any sort of change to the ban list. And the way it's looking right now, Yu-Gi-Oh is pretty stale. Not Yu-Gi-Oh as in the game in general, but just the meta right now is pretty stale, I will say. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but in my opinion, that's how it's going right now. Basically, all I'm seeing is like Monarchs, mostly Draco Pals, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, it's getting pretty stale for the meta right now, and there's not really any creativity going on in the game right now, because you got these cookie cutter decks that are just really easy to play as long as you have a standard type of build, and naturally people are going to gravitate towards that kind of deck, of course, because people don't really want to be creative. I don't want to say don't want to be creative, but they don't feel as though they need to be creative as long as they just have this opportunity right here for them to, you know, as long as they have the opportunity to go ahead and use someone else's deck and to go ahead and what am I gonna special summon? What am I really doing right here? But yeah, they don't want to take the opportunity to create their own type of deck. You know, you got Phantom Knights and stuff like that, but most of the time people are using like cookie cutter decks like PK Fire, because they don't want to be creative. They don't want to use a deck that could be meta but it's kind of casual. They don't want to do anything like that. But that's just my opinion on the game right now. So yeah, Konami definitely needs to bring out a ban list. I know they're kind of waiting until Shining Victories comes out, but that's quite a while away, considering that Shining Victories comes out in May. We don't really have anything else to look forward to. I mean, we just got Premium Gold, Infinite Gold, and that's been great. Got a lot of good reprints, stuff like that. But the meta is still like really stale. The only thing that Premium Gold, Infinite Gold really did was give us cards that we needed for like the decks that are really meta right now, like the Cosmos stuff, the Beatrice, for, you know, PK Fire or what have you. Yeah, that's all Premium Gold, Infinite Gold really did for the meta. And I know some people don't like to play the meta. I'm sure most people don't like to play the meta, but if you're someone who's like interested in playing meta like me, and you want to see different types of things in the meta, like different types of decks, more creative decks, like I will say, like 2013 Dragon Ruler format was a pretty creative time, because it wasn't really just Dragon Rulers ruling the whole format. Well, it was Dragon Rulers ruling the whole format, but it was a lot of room for a bunch of different stuff. And with the Dragon Rulers, all you really had to do was play Imperial Iron Wall, and they couldn't do anything. So, and like that was the main meta at that time. That and spell books. So that format was pretty creative, I will say. We had a bunch of different types of decks. We can go 2014. The format's 2014. Had a bunch of stuff. Had Infernities. Had what else? A bunch of different stuff. A bunch of different decks. Infernities, all that good stuff. And it was a really creative time. I know, but I know that the more like super tier 0 type decks were just pretty much only like Infernities and stuff like that, because they did top in Worlds. But even still, all the decks were like really creative and they had their own spin to it. And I'm not really seeing that with this format. The only real place that I see it differentiating it is like in, not even Atlanteans. Atlanteans is like really cookie cutter, but I'm seeing that in Monarchs, with the Kwanzaa Monarchs, with the Monarchs with the extra deck. That I can deal with, because it's not just simple things going into one deck. It's not just like, okay, I play this and this and then I automatically win. No. Monarchs have different types of strategies to them. Of course, you can have one with an extra deck where you don't have to play the newer Monarchs, and you can even play the newer Monarchs with an extra deck. But even still, the Monarchs have never been like the type of deck that you just use a cookie cutter for. That's a deck that you have to get creative with, because your opponent, Monarchs is a deck where your opponent can basically see what you're doing if you just show up without an extra deck at all. So like if you show up to a tournament and you have no extra deck, your opponent's gonna be like, okay, he's playing Monarchs, so I do this and this and this, and I counter all his stuff. And when you have different types of Monarch builds, you can pretty much avoid all of that. Did he just counter his own scatter shot? Oh my god, did he just counter his own scatter shot, dude? Oh my god. Oh my god, what a dude. Just counter his own scatter shot, but yeah, man. Like I said, Monarchs is not a cookie cutter deck. There are several ways you can play it. You can play a build where you just banish all of your opponent's stuff. You can play a build where you just don't use the extra deck. You go for standard Monarchs that's being used now today. Or you can go for Quantum Monarchs. No, that's not happening, dude. That's funny. But you can go for Quantum Monarchs, stuff like that. And of course, you're gonna have people that can guess what you're doing, but it's a lot less likely if you're playing a build that you made yourself, that you took the time to sit down and produce and just try to make yourself, make original stuff like that. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm getting a little bit bored with today's meta, simply because all I'm seeing is decks that are just completely standard, that have no originality to them. And yes, you can say that PK Fire has some originality, because you can play this, you can play that, or anything like that. But either way, you're still going to be playing Burning Abyss Phantom Knights. It'll always be Burning Abyss Phantom Knights. You can play a regular standard Phantom Knights. It'll still be Phantom Knights. either way it goes. You can throw quantums in there. It'll still be Phantom Knights. Just with a small quantum engine. All you're doing is making the level 4s, making the rank 4s. I mean, all you're doing is special summon level 3s to make rank 3s, like break swords, stuff like that. But 90% of the decks that are getting deck profiled from like YCS's, like from YCS Vegas, I swear all I saw scrolling down my YouTube timeline was literally Draco Pals. Like, that's the only deck that anyone played in YCS Vegas, because it's such an easy deck to play. Like, I know some people had some variations to it, but it was like barely a variation. It was like you got Dark Draco Pals with the double Armageddonite and the Shadow Dragon or the Zephyros. But either way, that's still Draco Pals. Like, you can't deny that it's still Draco Pals. You still have the Dracos in there. You still have the Performer Pals in there. That's the whole main engine, is those two engines put together, and you just continuously get stuff from the extra deck, and etc, etc. Now, what I did see at YCS Vegas that I'm sure nobody else noticed was that some guy went 4-0. Well, 4-0 from when I started watching, with Raider Raptors, which was pretty cool, because that was a deck that nobody was using there. I think he might have been the only person to be using it there that got a feature match. I saw, what else did I see? See, I can't even remember, because 90% of it was Draco Pals and Cosmo, and barely even Cosmo. I barely saw any Atlanteans. I saw Quantums. Well, Quantum Phantom Knights. I saw Phantom Knight Burning Abyss. All that type of good stuff, but mostly it was Draco Pals. And I don't like that we're in a format where it's just literally 1 or 2 decks that rule the entire format, and there's no creativity. It's just a straight cookie cutter deck that anyone can pick up and play. If you see a deck list, you can just go ahead and copy it and do whatever. No, I don't really like that. I mean, of course, I do like the Phantom Knight stuff myself. I do play it. The Phantom Knight stuff is pretty cool. I like Phantom Knights because they're not just, they're not just strictly overpowering stuff. And usually I just play Phantom Knights by themselves. Sometimes I will play PK Fire, but Phantom Knights by themselves is pretty good. Of course, you'll have a little speed run engine in there, but still, it's just Konami needs to just come on with the ban list. I'm just really tired of seeing the same decks getting deck profiled, and I'm not understanding why people are deck profiling people with the same deck. Like, I've seen a Draco Pal deck profile like 3 times from one page. Like, that should really say something, because of course Draco Pals is a popular deck, yeah, sure, but it's pretty much dominating every other deck, because honestly, you're not seeing anything else topping other than that. If you're not seeing that topping, you're seeing Monarchs. That's pretty much it. Cosmo is not topping, to be honest. Well, Cosmo is not hitting first place, I will say that. The only thing that's been hitting first place so far is Draco Pals. Sometimes you'll see Monarchs in there, but 90% of the time it's Draco Pals. So Konami needs to do something. Konami needs to hit something. Shining Victories needs to be pushed forward to like April, so we can go ahead and get a new meta started, because I do believe that Blue Eyes will be meta, especially with them releasing the Fail Grand Structure deck, Revival of R, or something like that. Revival of R, it sounds like Dragon Ball Z, but yeah, with that structure deck coming out and the Blue Eyes stuff coming out, Blue Eyes is probably definitely going to be meta, because the Belgrind stuff allows you to just special summon out. It allows you to special summon out level 7s and level 8 dragons. So that's like really easy for Blue Eyes because all of them are like level 8. And I don't even think the actual Eyes of Blue cards will be used in here. I'm not sure, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, something needs to happen in the game right now because I know I'm not the only one that feels this, but Yu-Gi-Oh! The meta is getting a little stale. And sure, yes, I play meta decks, but 90% of the time I'm playing casual decks because this meta is getting really stale for me right now. But yeah, that's all I got, guys. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts about the meta, about casual playing decks, you know, stuff of that sort. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Does Konami need to make a new ban list like right now? Does Konami need to push Shining Victories forward? Something like that. Something needs to happen today. Maybe not today, but something needs to happen very soon. Or else it's just gonna get stale for everybody else too. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like this video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to my Yu-Gi-Oh! Subscribe to my channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos, and I am signing out. Peace.